Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Victor Melcher, and today we're going to talk about what is in my camera bag. Now, some quick context. I'm primarily a video creator, so I make content here on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. However, all the gear in my bag is pretty versatile, so I feel confident going into any job with it. And I really like gear that is small, compact, and just easy to use. So let's get into it. All right, so first let's talk about the bag, which this is the large Brevity jumper bag. And there's two reasons I really love this bag. One is just because it looks like a regular backpack. And two, it still has some really cool camera-centric features. Like it has this little holder that will keep your tripod secure, which you can use this as a water bottle pocket, but in my case, I'm using it to hold my tripod. And also it has this little side pocket that if you do want to, you can just take your camera in and out without having to open the whole bag. And huge thanks to Brevity, they actually sent me this bag and one more item, which I'll show you later. And now for the gear, starting off in my side pocket, I have my Ulanzi travel tripod. Ulanzi also sent me this tripod last month, and huge thank you to them. The reason I really love this tripod is just how small and how compact it is. If you are shooting on a tight space and maybe you can only set this up on a countertop, you can shoot with it as is. If you're shooting regularly, you can just extend it like a regular tripod. These latches are just so fast and easy to use. So setup and breakdown is pretty fast when using this thing. So yeah, huge thanks to Ulanzi for sending this thing. I've been loving it, and I'm planning on doing a full review, so you'll probably see this more on the channel later. All right, next up is the second most expensive thing in this bag, which is my 14-inch M2 Max MacBook Pro. This thing is super solid. I purchased this guy last year, and it's because I was getting busier with video work, so I just really wanted to invest into a solid computer that performed really well. And the main thing that I'm so happy about with the new MacBooks is they now have SD card slot, HDMI port, and this one has 3 USB-C ports. And I originally bought the 16-inch MacBook Pro because I thought having a larger laptop would be better, but after 2 days of using it, I just found that thing so heavy and annoying to use. So I returned that one and got the 14-inch version. So if you travel a lot or you're just constantly moving around or going to different coffee shops, I'd probably recommend getting the 14-inch version. All right, next up is the outer zipper pocket. So the first two things that I have are my small rig magic arm and my super clamp. And with these, you can get a really cool POV shot. Also, these articulating arms can also be used to hold monitors or anything that has a 1/4-20. So I feel like they're very versatile and everyone should have one in their kit. Now, I also carry my filters in this section. So first up, I have the 82mm Nisi black mist filter. This is the 1/8 version. The reason I love having this on my camera is because this blooms my highlights and just softens my image up a little bit. And my next set of filters are my trusty Freewell variable ND filters. Every video creator should have a variable ND filter. If you haven't seen my shutter speed tutorial, definitely check that out. But essentially these are sunglasses for your lens that just allow you to keep your shutter speed 2 times your frame rate for cinematic motion blur. And I did buy the 6 to 9 stop variable ND filter, which is essentially an even darker shade if you're shooting in super bright daylight. And Freewell did recently send me their V2 hybrid magnetic CPL/VND filter. So I'm gonna be trying that out soon, but for the past 2 years, these regular screw-on VNDs have been amazing. And I do have a step-up ring for one of my lenses, which basically this will adapt the larger filter to the front of your smaller lens. So that way you don't have to buy multiple filters for every single lens. And now let's get into the main camera compartment. All right, so let's just start with the camera itself, which is the Sony FX3. This is an amazing little cinema camera. It's so small and so compact, but it has a full frame sensor that gives me amazing image quality. Cinema cameras can get very big very quickly, so I just really appreciate that this thing just feels like a small little handheld DSLR camera. If anything, it's just a really great camera that I can continue to grow with. So overall, I'm just a huge fan of this camera. It's probably one of the most versatile video-centric cameras that you can get. This thing comes in at about $3,800, so it's not necessarily a cheap camera by any means. However, this camera has paid itself off tenfold with the jobs that I've done so far. If you are doing a lot of video work, I do think it's worth the investment. And the camera cage I'm using is the small rig half cage, just because I hate how full cages feel when you're trying to grip the camera. So every camera I get, I'm always tossing on a small rig half cage. And the first lens I got is my Sigma 24-70 24-70 f2.8 zoom lens. And this lens is one of the best all-around use case lenses. It's wide enough when shooting at 24mm, and if you do need more compression, you can zoom up to 70. So this lens has pretty much lived on my camera. It has been everywhere with me. That's why it looks a little bit dirty, but overall, such a great lens. My only issue with this lens is that it is a bit chunky, especially compared to the Sony FX3 itself. For work, I have no issues with this lens, but if I want to go out and shoot for fun, I probably won't be using this guy. And no matter what, this is a must. This is just a lens cleaner. Everyone needs this in their kit. If you're out swapping lenses, just make sure you keep your sensor and your lenses clean. My other lens is my Tamron 17-28mm. So this is an ultra wide angle zoom lens, and I also love this lens. And recently I've been using it more just because the 24-70 is just such a chunky lens compared to this. So if I am gonna go out and just shoot something for fun, I would much rather put the 17-28mm on. And also one thing that I really appreciate about this lens is you can zoom in and out, and the lens barrel doesn't like jut out like it does on my 24-70. And bonus points because it's one of the cheapest ultra wide angle zooms you can get. I believe it's like $700 or $800, so you can probably find this used on eBay for like $400 or $500. Next up is my small rig top handle. I've been using this top handle since like 2020, even before my FX3. This top handle is perfect because it's small and it has a bunch of screws on the top and the side. So if I do want to mount anything, which sometimes I will mount my small rig magic arm to it, this is perfect. With the Sigma 24-70, it makes the FX3 very front heavy. So you can actually adjust the handle, push it forward, and it helps even the center of gravity a little bit. Next up, I have my Sony charger and an extra battery. What I'll typically do if I'm on a long day shoot is once my first battery dies, I'll just swap it out and connect it to the charger. By the time the other battery dies, this one's back at 100%. So I personally find that just one extra Sony battery does the job for me. All right, now audio is arguably more important than the video quality itself. So I'm using the Rode Wireless Pros. I absolutely love these little things. The audio quality is great. I love that they have a charging case and then a second case for all your cables. And the last thing in my main camera compartment is the Logitech Lift. I'm honestly probably editing more than I'm actually shooting. And I was using my traditional mouse so much that I was getting such bad wrist pains to the point that I couldn't sleep because my wrist was hurting so bad. So my fiance actually bought me this, and it actually reversed all the wrist pain that I was getting in probably like 3 weeks to a month. And also an honorable mention, it's not in my bag, but that little laptop stand saved my back. So the next thing I got is my small HD monitor. So I've owned this monitor since 2021, I believe, and it is starting to look a bit beat up, but it works, it looks great, it's super bright, and I always carry an extra NPF 570 battery with me. And then I have two cables. So one cable goes directly into my FX3 if I want to mount it on top. Then the other cable is actually a female HDMI adapter. So what I can do is with a regular HDMI cord, typically when I'm filming my YouTube videos, I will just connect it to the HDMI. Then I'm able to use this to check my image, and this 5-inch monitor is discontinued, but I'll link another one in the description. And lastly, I have the Brevity cable kit. So this is just a nice little pouch to keep all of your tech and your cables organized. I have my Samsung T7 Shield hard drive. I love these, they're so small, and I'm using the 4TB version. This is definitely a must-have if you're working with a ton of footage or a ton of photos. One thing I also really like about this tech pouch is you can actually unzip this zipper and it will like extend the pouch itself. So you can put a ton more cables or just accessories if you do need that. Next up, in another pocket, I have the 256 SanDisk Extreme Pro SD card. And I love these because they are cheap and reliable. I can shoot up to 4K 60, which is all I need. In the middle zipper, I have my little earphones. I think these are just like random Skull Candy earbuds. I just use these to do a quick audio test and I'm good to go. All right, and lastly, I have my USB-C MacBook Pro charger. I can charge my laptop, my iPhone 15, my FX3 if I need. So I just find that having one charger for everything just simplifies it a little bit. All right, everyone, so that is what's in my camera bag. If you do have any questions on any of this gear, feel free to let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one.